Stuart Batty. I'm going to do a bowl on a Powermatic 3520 and I have a little bit limited time, so I'm going to fly a bit. So I'm using our new elliptical bowl gouge on Powermatics, which I work on at home. So we'll start off slow. We're between centers. This is not the safest method to get started, but it's a way of mounting the bowl onto a chuck. We want to get on a chuck as quick as possible. Maximum speed possible on this would be 1,000. Otherwise it's not safe. We're just going to run at 800. Let's get it ready for the chuck. So we're just going to level this with this gouge. We're going to scoop in for the chuck. With chuck, I'm on a 3-inch chuck, so we don't want to go too wide. We're just scooping out, getting rid of some side grain. Let's swap out for a little scraper. This little scraper is just going to let me do a dovetail in here, and we can push the chuck into there. That's it. So this bowl is ready to go on a chuck. So we don't work it long. We don't take it down to the round whilst the corners are on, and we're not on a chuck. We need to be on a chuck. Put this down, lockout bar. Don't forget, clean the back of the chuck. You see the chips on it? It means it won't run true. Must always clean it. We'll spin it on. This is a Vic Mark chuck. I'll put this on. So we're going to use expansion, not contraction. In this particular stage, expansion is better because it's a solid piece of wood. We'll use contraction and grip on a tenon in a little bit. We need to take this down to the round. This is the cut where people get beat up. We don't want to get beat up. We want to turn on this correctly. Nice long quill on this, so let's take advantage of that. Okay, so using a bowl gouge with a 40-40 grind, that's a 40-degree bevel. Just make sure you're clear. So I'm going to take my bevel, which is a 40-degree angle. I'm going to make sure it's in line with the bowl. I'm going to stand at the end of the cut, right here, comfortable. And I'm just going to lean through. I'm going to take this down in maybe 2 cuts down to the round. So now we're on a chuck. We've got a tailstock. We take speed up. Ooh, this stuff's wet. Wow, it's wet. Good and 2. Yeah, a little bit of harmonics there. Getting a little harmonics there for some reason. There we go. Just fighting that for a second, but we'll get through that. Okay, let's move this back. Oops, you got it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, from there. Now with this first straight cut, second straight cut here. So another straight cut, just getting rid of the corner. We'll set the tool rest not at 45, that won't work. We just slight offset here so we can get to the top of the bowl in one cut. So from there, we're ready to go. We get a little more speed. And let's just check we're super tight on the chuck, because it'll be in a moment. And I make sure the headstock's super tight, because it's a movable headstock, so when it's super tight. And we're going to push cut round. Watch out. Definitely a little bit of harmonics on the headstock, so it probably needs cleaning underneath the headstock, but that's fine. You just give it a clean. We'll power through that. So I'm not controlling at the front with my left, it's just simply holding it down. This is 2 horsepower on a long extension, so I'm just taking bigger cuts than most people normally would. Now this is a CPM 15V gouge. It's the only 15V gouge in the world currently, so it's the longest edge. I don't need to resharpen. Normally I would resharpen. So we go for a finished cut all around the outside, so a little bit modest, more modest cut here. And we'll just put a tenon on to the size chuck we got. We'll swap it around. So that's not the finished cut on the outside, it's the rough shape. We'll put a final, oh, it's got some cracks in it, this piece. This bowl's gonna end up smaller. So I just see these cracks, I didn't see that till now. So it'll end up a little bit smaller. So it's not quite gonna fit my tenon, so I'm gonna go one more time, let's make it smaller. We'll get that later. We're making a slightly smaller tenon. So hopefully that's not too big this time. And the bowl's got some cracks in the top, so that's why I'm leaving that. I'm going to turn that off. So I didn't see the defects until I cut through it. We'll cut that off from the other side. Let's see if it's running true. True enough, we're good. We'll do the inside. The inside is actually faster than the outside in some ways. It makes a lot more chips. So the secret to the inside is don't swing into the bowl. We're going to go in pretty straight. Now here I'm just going to get rid of some, like I said, there's some defects in the top of the bowl. I have no choice but to shorten it. So I've got to get rid of those defects. So what we're going to do here is hollow this out. Now important not to swing into the middle, we're just going to create a series of V-cuts. So this is a V-cut, and then what we're looking to do here is to start swinging in. Let's clean the front and let's make it thin. But I'm going to actually turn the outside again in a few minutes on a jam chuck. Okay, so here I'm going to split this in half. I'm going to split it in half again. Now I'm going to make it thin in a power cut. Let me just check. Oh, let's do this cut. Clean the gouge. So use the paper towel for support as I start the cut. Get rid of some in the middle. Oops, don't go past middle. Then we change to a bottom bowl gouge. So drop the twist a little bit and come in from the side. Thank you much. Okay, so let's go for a finished cut on this. The top's good. So bottom bowl gouge, make sure it doesn't touch your body. I'm going to glide in from here, pick up the cut. Stay slightly above center. Lift down to the center. And through the middle, I'll do that twice. Just make sure I get rid of that middle. Check it. So if that's good, if I want to use negative rake on this, I can. So the swept back negative rake. Pretty big blade. It doesn't really need it. It's pretty clean, but we'll use it anyway. So set the height because it's a slightly different height to the gouge. So this has a burr on it all the way around. It has a negative angle on it. And if you want to, you can use a paper towel as initially just a little bit of extra support Doesn't really need it, just to make sure you're not going to get any flexing on the wood. So negative rake is not aggressive, doesn't grab the wood. Through the center, that's good. The rim, I'm going to clean that up with the bottom bowl gouge. Good. Now we're going to cut the hole outside again to make it thin. So, but we'll need to make a jam chuck, so we're just going to use it as a pressure plate right now. Close enough. I'm not going to work it other than get it ready for the chuck because it's not in a safe position here. So we'll simply put it on the chuck. So right now I'm using a pressure system, just lots of pressure. It won't slide out, but we just need to be nice to it. We'll use the big one still. And we'll start slow. Let's level that face. Let's get rid of all that because it'll go down the middle of the chuck. And I got to remember, I got a limitation on the size of this chuck, so I can't go too big. So I'm just going to go down in size. The chuck will fit inside that. We'll need to snap that off at the end because that's going to be in the way. Yeah, this chuck. Next time I'll take the safety pin off because it gives you an extra ½ inch of travel. So make sure you bring up the tailstock for this because I got to get this down to the round. And this is a dry piece of maple, not on center anymore, but we'll get that down. Yep, don't need it anymore. Yep. So let's make this into a jam chuck. A little bit out. Let's go to a smaller gouge. So the reason I reduced the height of this bowl before was there's some cracks in it, and you can't jam chuck a bowl on cracks because it'll pull it right off. Well, one thing for sure, not coming off. So let's turn a base on it. Let's shorten it a little bit. We can shorten it a little bit. Get rid of a little bit more of that. So we're going to go for a finish cut all the way around. I'd normally sharpen the gouge at this stage, but I don't have a grind over here, so we'll just go for it in one cut. So we'll cut slow, short bevel. So we can do a slight OG. Now you can't go through the top because otherwise you'll burst that rim. The reason I need a burr, I'm going to use negative rake to negative rake the top away, because if I cut through, I'll burst it through. So here we can start, we'll put a little dimple in here. Good on material. Going to cut this way. Don't push hard here, because if you push hard, you'll pull it off the chuck. So I'm going towards end grain. And we just need a little beading and parting tool to finish the rim. So we use negative rake. So right now, we've done a push cut round, but if I keep pushing, I'll burst out through the top. I can cut in a little way to get rid of some waste here. I need to cut through first. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. So I'm using half the chisel, then we'll do the other half for a fresh burr. There we go, so we don't break the edge. That's it, and then we're going to part in. Then we're going to twist it, put it. So I'm twisting into the jam wood. There. There you go. Yeah. All right, thanks. So that's honey locust. Turned twice, so we did the outside, did the inside, and then we turned the outside on a jam chuck. Jam chucks are very effective. You can see when you cut wood wrong, you get this torn grain. That was I was just roughing down. When you cut the wood correctly, you don't end up with this torn grain. Honey locust, fun wood to turn. It's pretty wet and it'll warp a bit. Anyway, we used Powermatic 3520. As you can see, I'm pushing it really hard, taking massive cuts. So when I stall it out, it only takes 3 or 4 seconds to reset, which is great. Lets me reset and push my luck and hog out a bowl pretty quick, because I got to go and do another demo in another area. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Powermatic. I appreciate it. I'm out of here. Thanks.